Cop fatally shoots his own partner after she broke up with him. You see, a little twist there. And now there's an update on the case. Here's what we've learned. Krystal Rivera was fatally wounded in the line of duty by her partner. Her family's now suing the department and her partner for her resulting death. The family of Chicago police officer Krystal Rivera, who was fatally shot in the line of duty this year by her partner, says that shooting came after she broke off a romantic relationship with him. This comes as part of a 9-count wrongful death lawsuit filed by Rivera's family, who alleged that her partner, Officer Carlos A. Baker, failed to render aid and attempted to cover the shooting up after he fired a single shot that struck her during a foot pursuit in Chatham on June 5th, rather, June 5th. And there you see the partner. He's pictured here. Now, Antonio Romanucci is an attorney for the Rivera family. And here's what Mr. Romanucci has to say. Rivera and Baker became involved in an on again, off again relationship, romantic one dating back to 2023, was known to other CPD employees. Rivera eventually broke that relationship off this year after learning Baker was involved with another woman. Attorney said Thursday, threatened to also inform the other woman of their relationship. Now, attorney Mara White said Rivera expressed concerns about Baker's adverse reaction to the breakup and his continued attempts to contact her outside of work. Less than 48 hours before she was shot, Baker showed up at Rivera's home uninvited after she told him not to come, White said. Two men, 27-year-old Jalen Arnold, 25-year-old Adrian Rucker, have also been charged in connection with the incident that led to Rivera's death. According to Cook County prosecutors, Rivera and her partner observed Arnold walking with an unusually but large bulge under his jacket, allegedly consistent with a drum magazine. When he looked at the officers, Arnold took off running, followed by police, prosecutors said. Arnold fled into a nearby apartment building where he was buzzed in by Rucker. The officers made it inside seconds later, where Rivera's partner allegedly saw Rucker standing behind a couch pointing a firearm at him. Prosecutors said Rivera's partner then accidentally discharged his firearm, striking and killing her. Rivera's family and their attorneys have previously disputed the CPD's narrative of the shooting, saying during a July press conference that it does not yet pass the smell test. They're not buying it. They want more. At the time, the family called for a separate investigation into the shooting led by Illinois State Police. They sought to pressure Chicago police officials to publish the body and dash cam footage from the fatal shooting. Romanucci on Thursday claimed Baker never rendered any substantive aid to Rivera, did not call for an ambulance after the shooting, that it was Rivera herself who called in the shooting. He also alleged the CPD knew Baker was reckless and unfit for duty following previous reprimands and off-duty incidents. And let's get to those other reprimands, shall we? Rivera family has argued this. Baker shouldn't have even been with CPD at all. As the Chicago Sun-Times and the Illinois Answers Project reported, he racked up 3 suspensions and 2 reprimands since becoming an officer in 2021. That's not that long ago. And look, already he had 3 suspensions. Only the best people, best and brightest, only the finest. Wow. That incident included during Baker's time as a probationary officer, in which he allegedly brandished a firearm at a woman whom he'd met online while she was on a date with another man. Sounds real stable. Sounds like the kind of guy you want to be on the force with. I'd love to have him as my partner. Not. That's according to the Sun-Times and the Illinois Answers Project. Baker was eventually relieved of his police powers in August, following a separate incident in which he allegedly struck another female officer during an incident outside a Wicker Park bar. Just another woman, another woman, another woman. There'll always be another woman. That officer has since filed a police report and claims she was being treated for a split lip Sun Times, Illinois Answers Project reported at the time. CBS News also reported Baker called a neighboring business and identified himself as a police officer investigating that incident while seeking access to their surveillance footage. Okay, this is creepy. I'd like to start with, Jordan, things that I think are irrefutable. This guy has issues. I think that's irrefutable. Um, there are incidents that led up to the death of Ms. Rivera, the partner, that could have, and I believe should have, stopped him in his tracks and made it so that perhaps he would have never even been on that scene, never even been there. We'll never know. But I think it's irrefutable that the incidents that have been chronicled by the Sun Times and Illinois Answers Project say, not sure if he was meant to be on the force, holding a gun and power over people. Hell of a circumstances here. The family of the other cop, the dead police officer, does not trust the very force she was serving on to conduct this investigation. Another female officer has her own issues with what may have gone down. What say you about what we do know and what we can glean from it?
Well, you're seeing a pattern here that proves this person had no worthiness or deservedness or entitlement to his position. And despite repeated suspensions, a documented history of violence against women, potential partners, or past partners, they still allowed him to keep his job. Why is it that police departments around the country continue to see bad behavior and think, yeah, let's just keep this person? They're not entitled to a job as a cop. What is it about this job specifically where they will bend over backwards to excuse, justify, turn a blind eye to bad or violent behavior just to keep them in their job? If someone did that at an accounting firm, even one of those things, they justifiably be fired. But for some reason, you can do these things repeatedly and ultimately allegedly take someone's life. And it's okay, well, it's his job. He has to keep it. Why? Why is it that this is the only industry in this country where you can continue to do this stuff, be violent towards strangers, towards past loved ones, past relationships, people you are supposed to be protecting and serving, and you have to keep your job? I will never understand this. It's absolutely shameful.
Mhm. You won't understand it because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
damn sense. No sense at all. Why are his presumably due process rights and the union protecting him, and if they are, but it's usually the way it goes. Why are his rights more important than everybody else's when he's the one with the gun and a badge and the ability to get people to capitulate? He has that ability. Relieved of charges. Where does it say accused of murder? And I'm not suggesting that that would be the appropriate charge, but I'm just saying that if he were a civilian, do you honestly believe that it would go down like this? Do you honestly believe that it would be, well, nothing to see here? Charge the two bad guys who ran away. This guy, it's just, it is what it is. So we're not going to dismiss the fact that he didn't bother to call for an ambulance. He didn't call in the shooting. He didn't render aid. I haven't seen any attorney. I haven't seen any documentation on his side saying, oh, wait. He tried. He gave her mouth to mouth CPR. He desperately tried to save her life. He was heartbroken. I don't see anybody pushing back on that. I only see the facts that the CPD, who the victim's family does not trust, put out, and even those are bizarro world. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I think that's a totally fair point, right? We're talking about somebody and other officers who saw one of their own colleagues die. One of their colleagues is dead here, and they're saying, "Well, okay, whatever. We have to protect the guy who allegedly did it."
Yeah.
What? If you threw to go back to like an office setting, if you threw a stapler at someone's head, you're out. The rest of your colleagues aren't going to be like, "Well, you know, the person who got hit in the head with a stapler called HR." No, like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Like, it's not only that they're like justifying it and defending it, they're turning a blind eye to one of their other colleagues. It's not just that bad behavior is accepted, it's protected here.
And it seems like it's protect blue over everything, the institution. I mean, surely there were cops, fellow cops who loved her, right? Supported her, and probably didn't like him, knew he was she's reckless, the family lawsuit said. Protect blue over everything if you're a cop.